Welcome students, EALN 1508, to your feedback on Lesson 3, Part 1, Applying Critical Reading and Note-Taking Strategies. It is so important that you remember we are in the process of equipping you and empowering you to become academic writers. So we believe and trust in the process and that you are well on the road to becoming acquainted with all the rules and what is required of you. Sit back, enjoy what you haven't been able to get right. It would be good for you to make a note of it and concentrate on those aspects when you are busy with your essay. We are gearing you up to write an academic scientific essay. Okay students, in this feedback we are covering what you were to learn in the lesson, what skills you used and applied, what did you find difficult, what did you improve on, and what you need to remember. Now this is collated between all the facilitators, so this is pretty much correct and this should help you hone your skills. So it is our hope that in this lesson you learned to read critically. Reading critically is an active way of reading. It is deeper, more complex engagement with a text. It is a process of analyzing, interpreting, sometimes evaluating. You are asked, what is evaluating? It is to judge with facts. When we read critically, we use our critical thinking skills to question the text and our own reading of it, our perception, our knowledge. And then obviously academically, scientifically, you're going to find research, evidence, proof. Critically reading is also asking the question, 5 W's and H, what happened, where did it happen, how did it happen, why did it happen, who did it, and when did it happen. We also expect you to apply these skills in reading and taking notes. We expect you to learn note-taking strategies. You know, students, you're going to have a huge amount of work to go through. You need to know how to highlight, how to use symbols, how to come up with tools that will help you get through all that work. You need to know how to engage with academic text. In other words, you become part of it. You either agree or you don't agree. You need to make an opinion. Some of you said you don't need an opinion or they don't want you to have. Actually, that's not true. They want you to have fact-based opinions. Distinguish between compare and contrast. Many of you know how to compare and contrast, but there is a lack of using the right linking words, the right transitional devices. In this PowerPoint, you will find a link to a good website. I would suggest you copy that link, even download it and keep it on your desktop. Finding evidence in research is critically important. It is so important that we spend time showing you how to find the right sources and why it is important to have a credible source. Okay students, thank you for your hard work. Okay students, when it comes to what skills you have used or applied, we are looking at higher order thinking here, and Bloom's taxonomy summarizes it quite well. You create, evaluate, analyze, apply, understand, and remember. You are creating a new piece of work, you develop, formulate, you evaluate, you are defending, judging, selecting, supporting, critiquing. You're analyzing, you're thinking about it, you're comparing, you're contrasting, you're questioning, and so forth. Applying, you need to look at new situations, implement, solve, demonstrate, operate, schedule. When you understand something, you are describing it, you are discussing it, you are explaining it, you are locating it at that level. Even maybe translating. You need to be able to get to the point where you remember key concepts, where you memorize everything and start duplicating, paraphrasing is one way of bringing that out. Now on number 2, you'll see that we say annotate. That is note-taking, and here is a beautiful picture where you can see you can circle words, underline keywords, you can draw arrows, you can number them, star them, exclamation. use abbreviations, anything that helps you take 100 pages and make 1 page or half a page or 100 words out of it, or just even one sort of mind map on that whole section. Number 3 is something that many of you did not get right, and that is how to link the right transitional word with the right academic tone, which means, are you comparing that as a tone? Are you contrasting? Are you arguing? What is the tone of your work piece? If you're contrasting, it means it's different. However, although you'll see the link, please use those synonyms. When you compare, it is similar, it is same as. These are the words you need to learn to use. If you don't know them, go to this website, print it and put it on your computer or on your desktop. When you contrast, it is opposed, more than, less than, or on the contrary. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, it is so important that you explain your evidence. This evidence means, this evidence proves, this evidence shows. Johnson & Johnson proves the answer, or the such and such author is important because of this research they did. The evidence supports my hypothesis. Okay, so these are little diagrams to make you understand and make you remember what is critically important in academic scientific writing. We're moving on.
All right. So you might ask yourself, what skills have I used in this lesson? What skills did I apply in this lesson? What new content did I learn or that were included in this lesson that I didn't know before? So firstly, you learned about what it means to critically look at a text and to critically think about a text. You learned about reading and the different note-taking strategies that will help you to critically read a text. You also learned the importance of critically reading a text. What does it mean to evaluate a text? Why is it necessary to evaluate a text? We covered all those things, and I'm sure by asking the importance of evaluating a text and why we need to evaluate a text, we all know the answer because we all went through the text. So the skills that you used in the text are critical thinking, where you had to look at the text, synthesizing, text analyzing, and incorporating previous knowledge. How did you do this? You had to look at Nomusa's prompt or essay. You had to look at Nomusa's topic, and then you had to look for key concepts and keywords. You had to think about the topic before you read, and you had to look at GMO, which are the keywords: GMO foods, the benefits of GMO foods, the negatives of GMO foods, and the global implications. You also had to share your own thoughts about what you think about GMO foods. Also, you were expected to find the best sources to use for that text. So those are all the things that you learned. Now you know the best sources to use for which text, where to look for, how to look at a text, how to analyze a text, and how to look for keywords in a topic. All right. So in as much as we learned a lot in lesson 3, in as much as we were acquired with skills in lesson 3, we also need to look at the difficulties that came along in lesson 3. So what was most difficult for you? What did you find most difficult in this lesson? So the first thing that was identified was following instruction from a text. So many students struggled to identify the important information in the text. For example, where you were expected to to um, to write down the benefits and the drawbacks of GMO foods. You will get a student just writing one benefit and no drawbacks. So that goes with following instruction was one of the difficulties that was identified. Secondly, not reading information clearly, which goes along again with following instruction. Thirdly, not summarizing clearly. So many students will give a one-worded answer or write in bullets with no summary at all. Also, analyzing and comparing texts. So you had to identify the differences and the similarities in the content and structure. So the comments in that section were very shallow and they looked at the surface. Also, there was a lack of transitional devices between ideas. Students did not use any transitional devices to contrast or to explain similarities. Also, recording the most important points from the text, which goes again along with everything that I just mentioned. So those were the difficulties that were identified in the text. And hopefully for your next lesson, please read the instruction and do try to follow the instruction.
On the section of what you have improved in lesson 3, it is always a pleasure for us to see how you're progressing. And as you can see in this little picture, we're looking at higher order thinking skills and strategies. And more or less, most of you, if not all of you, have progressed and have become equipped with the following. You're all learning to paraphrase information from a text. You have a better understanding of interpreting instructions from a topic. You have a better understanding of analyzing a text, what it means and how to do it. You are now taking time to actually think about what they want from you and then complete all the answers in a task. Some of you are not doing this. Please pull up your socks. You're understanding that an academic writing has a tone, whether you're comparing or differentiating. And many students noted the differences in register between the two academic texts. And a lot of you were able to use your previous knowledge. And some of you even mentioned the SQR3 method, which is absolutely brilliant. Wonderful work. We are looking forward to your essays, and we are looking forward to seeing you do well. Looking at point 5, you need to know that you will have to remember important aspects, as you are most well aware of this. Remember to always select the relevant, most important information when you are making your notes. Remember the skills that you have learned in this lesson, especially Bloom's taxonomy. Keep in mind the importance of why we are referencing and paraphrasing. Never just answer or think you know what the question is or the instruction. Take time, read your questions and understand what they want from you. If you do not know what they expect from you, you will not be able to fulfill those expectations, and then you need to follow them precisely. Never plagiarize. You know now that it's not allowed. Use your own words. Remember to use full sentences, especially when you're asked to summarize. In this case, they did say list, therefore we allowed some of you to get away with it, but next time they say summarize and use the words that tell you that you are listing in a paragraph essay form. Finally, do research that is current. There's a lot of negatives currently around the concept of GMO. There are protests worldwide. There are bees falling from the sky and countries banning them. So whatever your topic is, look and see what is current. Always put it in context. Where did it come from? What happened? How did it happen? And why are we now sitting here contemplating and writing about it? Thank you.
We have come to the end of our lesson or our presentation. So thank you very much for taking time to listen to this presentation. And if you have any questions or if you are unsure about anything, please do email your facilitator because we are here to help you with anything that you have, or if you have any questions, or if maybe you are not clear about something, don't be shy. Do reach out to your facilitators as they are there to help you. And please remember to do submit all the tasks, do answer all the questions in a lesson. Don't just do some and you leave the others blank. For your next lessons, make sure to answer all the questions and take the feedback that was provided now, put it in your next lesson so that there can even be greater improvement.